In the heart of the vast savanna, where acacia trees dotted the golden landscape, lived a young leopard named Leo. Leo was just like any other leopard, cub-fast, agile, and with a coat of beautiful rosettes that shimmered under the African sun. He could chase butterflies for hours, pounce on rustling leaves with perfect precision, and climb the tallest marula trees in a single bound. But Leo had a secret, a very big secret for a creature of the night. Leo was afraid of the dark. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange and purple, a shiver would run down Leo's spine. While his mother and siblings prepared for the hunt, their eyes glowing with excitement for the cool night air, Leo would find the coziest, most hidden spot he could and curl into a tight ball. The world, which was so familiar and friendly during the day, transformed into a place of menacing shadows and strange, spooky sounds at night. The gentle rustle of the wind sounded like a monster's whisper, and the distant call of a hyena sounded like a cackle aimed right at him. His mother, a wise and patient leopardess named Zola, noticed his fear. "Leo, my dear," she would say softly, nuzzling his head, "the night is our friend. It's when we are strongest. The darkness is just a blanket that cools the earth. There's nothing to be afraid of." But her words, though comforting, couldn't chase away the scary pictures that danced in Leo's mind. He imagined giant shadowy figures lurking behind every bush and unseen creatures with glowing eyes watching his every move. One evening, Zola decided it was time for Leo to face his fear. "Tonight, you're coming with me," she said gently but firmly. Leo's heart hammered against his ribs. He tried to protest, but his mother's gaze was steady. She wasn't going to take no for an answer. Trembling, Leo followed her out from their den under the rocky outcrop. The moon was a sliver in the sky, and the stars were like scattered diamonds, but their light seemed to make the shadows even darker and longer. Every snap of a twig made Leo jump. He stayed so close to his mother that he kept bumping into her legs. Zola walked calmly, her movements silent and graceful. "Listen, Leo," she whispered. "Don't just hear the noise. Listen to the story the night is telling." Leo tried. He closed his eyes for a second and focused. He heard the rhythmic chirping of crickets, a symphony of tiny musicians. He heard the deep, rumbling snore of a hippo in the nearby river. He even heard the gentle hoot-hoot of an owl perched high in a baobab tree. These weren't scary sounds. They were just the sounds of the night. As they ventured further, Zola pointed with her nose towards a bush. "Look closely," she urged. Leo squinted. At first, he saw nothing but a dark shape. But as his eyes adjusted, he saw two tiny, bright lights. They weren't monsters' eyes. They were fireflies, blinking on and off, creating a magical light show just for them. Leo let out a small gasp of wonder. He had never seen anything so beautiful. The fireflies danced around them, their little lanterns illuminating the path. Next, they came to a clearing. In the center, bathed in the soft starlight, was a family of porcupines, their quills shimmering like silver needles. A baby porcupine was trying to climb a small rock, tumbling over with a soft grunt, only to get up and try again. Leo found himself giggling quietly. They weren't fearsome beasts. They were just a family, playing together, much like his own. His mother then led him to the edge of the waterhole. The surface of the water was like a dark mirror, reflecting the starry sky perfectly. It was as if the whole universe was captured in that pool. As Leo stared into the water, he saw another pair of eyes looking back at him. For a split second, his old fear returned. But then he realized they were his own eyes, reflecting the starlight. They were bright and clear, not fearful. Suddenly, a wise old owl named Hoot flew down and landed on a branch above them. Well, Zola," Hoot said in a soft, raspy voice. "I see you've brought the young one out for a night walk." Hoot turned his big, round eyes to Leo. "The dark is only as scary as you let it be, little one." It holds just as much beauty as the day. You just have to learn how to see it. Leo thought about Hoot's words. He had been so busy imagining scary things that he had never stopped to look for the beautiful things. He had never seen the dancing fireflies, the playful porcupines, or the stars reflected in the water. He had been missing out on a whole other world. As they walked back towards their den, Leo felt a change within him. The shadows no longer looked like monsters. They were just peaceful, sleeping shapes of rocks and trees. The sounds were no longer threats, but the familiar lullaby of the savannah at night. He even spotted a tiny bush baby, its huge eyes peering down at him curiously from a branch. Leo wasn't scared. He was fascinated. When they finally reached their den, Leo didn't immediately curl up and hide. He sat at the entrance with his mother, looking out at the vast, star-dusted landscape. The fear that had once gripped his heart was gone, replaced by a sense of wonder and excitement. He realized that the darkness wasn't something to be afraid of. It was a part of his world, a part of who he was. It was a time for adventure, a time for discovery. From that night on, Leo became a true leopard of the night. He learned to hunt with his mother, his movements as silent as the shadows themselves. He made friends with the fireflies and would often have conversations with Hoot the owl. He discovered that the night was full of magic, from the glow of mushrooms on a fallen log to the silvery path the moon made on the river. He learned that courage wasn't about not being afraid, but about facing your fears and discovering the beauty that lies on the other side. And Leo, the leopard who was once afraid of the dark, became the bravest and most curious explorer of the savannah's enchanting night. He finally understood that the dark wasn't an enemy, but a friend waiting to share its secrets.